What if the path to being truly great at anything isn't about discovering some secret shortcut? What if it's actually about embracing the the boring stuff?
It kind of flies in the face of everything we're usually sold, doesn't it?
It really does.
We idolize those highlight reel moments, the seemingly effortless brilliance. But the sources we're looking at today, they argue that's maybe the wrong place to focus entirely.
Absolutely. And that's exactly the premise we're diving into, drawing heavily from a piece by Coach Ed Padalecki called Master of Boring. It's a deep dive rooted in sports psychology, high performance, but with implications far, far beyond just the athletic field.
Coach Padalecki lays out a really compelling case for why consistent, fundamental execution is the absolute bedrock for anyone aiming for excellence.
Right.
So whether you're a high-performing business professional leading a team, maybe a coach developing athletes, or an athlete pushing your own limits, this deep dive is really for you.
We're aiming to extract the core insights from Coach P's work and the material he references to understand how making the mundane truly important is the real differentiator.
Okay, so let's jump right into that core concept then.
Sounds good. Coach Padalecki kicks things off with a pretty powerful quote from author Robin Sharma.
Which one's that?
Greatness is less about dramatic talent and more about consistent execution of fundamentals.
Ah, okay. And that's where the sports psychology angle becomes so clear, right?
Definitely.
Elite performance, as Coach Padalecki points out, it isn't built on the occasional flashy moment that makes the news real. It's forged in the quiet, often invisible, and yes, sometimes boring disciplines, but they're executed relentlessly well, day after day.
Relentlessly well. That's the key phrase there, I think.
It is.
It's not just doing the basics. It's bringing a certain intensity and focus to them consistently, which leads right to his central principle. Greatness equals mastery of the mundane.
Mastery of the mundane. Think about that phrase for a second.
It's catchy.
It is, and it's counterintuitive. But the point is, the very best in any field, they don't somehow graduate from the basics.
No, they go deeper.
Exactly. They go deeper into them. They find nuances, tiny points of refinement in actions that others might consider too simple to really focus on.
Like finding this infinite complexity within something that looks really simple on the surface?
Perfectly put. And the examples Coach Padalecki provides in the source material, they really bring this to life.
Talk about those.
Well, he mentions athletes like Steph Curry. You watch him make these unbelievable shots, right, off the dribble, but his practice time is still heavily dedicated to foundational footwork drills. Simple steps, pivots, balance the stuff you learn on day one.
Still being perfected at the absolute elite level.
Right. Or think about Serena Williams, arguably the greatest server in tennis history. You'd assume her practice is all raw power or tricky spins, but she still spends significant time practicing basic serves.
Just the mechanics.
Focusing on the toss, the rhythm, the contact point. It's that consistency of the fundamental mechanics that allows the power and spin to actually be effective under pressure.
And it's not just limited to sports, is it? Coach Padalecki points this out too.
Not at all. He talks about top CEOs. Their days might be filled with high-stakes decisions, complex strategies.
Right.
But their performance is often grounded in these incredibly consistent, almost ritualistic morning routines.
It's like waking early, specific exercise.
Meditation, structured planning for the day. These aren't glamorous things.
No.
But they are fundamental disciplines that build the physical and mental capacity needed for those really demanding roles.
What stands out in all these examples is exactly what Coach Padalecki emphasizes, the extraordinary results we see. They're almost always the culmination of extraordinary consistency in performing very ordinary behaviors.
It's the daily practice, the repetitive drill, the mundane habit, compounded over time. That's what creates what looks like effortless mastery from the outside.
Okay, so if these fundamentals are so crucial, what are they specifically? Coach Padalecki offers a helpful structure here, breaking them down.
The 2 levels of fundamentals, that's useful.
The first level he calls the universal fundamentals.
Okay, universal meaning.
Meaning these are absolutely non-negotiable baseline requirements. They apply to everyone, regardless of your specific job or goal.
Got it. The foundation.
Exactly. They provide the essential foundation for energy, clarity, and the ability to sustain high output without just burning out.
And he lists the key ones, right?
He does. First up, sleep. This isn't just rest. It's recovery, cognitive reset, memory consolidation. If you neglect sleep, your capacity just plummets. Doesn't matter how talented you are.
Then nutrition.
Right. Fueling your body and brain deliberately. The quality of your input directly affects your physical energy, your mental stamina, even your emotional regulation through the day.
Makes sense. What's next?
Movement. Coach P puts it simply, training the body trains the mind. Regular physical activity isn't just about fitness. It's vital for managing stress, boosting mood, improving focus, building overall resilience.
Okay. Sleep, nutrition, movement.
Then breath. It sounds almost too simple, maybe.
Maybe, but powerful.
Incredibly. Conscious breathwork can immediately regulate your nervous system, ground you in the present, sharpen your ability to focus when you really need it.
And the last universal one.
Focus. In a world basically designed for distraction, the ability to protect your attention, to dedicate concentrated blocks of time to high leverage work. That's a fundamental superpower now.
So Coach Padalecki's point is clear. If you don't consistently execute these universal fundamentals,
Your potential stays potential.
remains just that, a theoretical idea. It never fully manifests because the basic operating system isn't functioning optimally.
That makes perfect sense. You could be a strategic genius, but if you're running on 3 hours of sleep and fueling yourself with junk food,
Forget about it.
the clarity and energy required to execute that strategy consistently just won't be there. It's like having a Ferrari engine, but never putting gas in it.
Exactly. So building on that universal foundation, we then move to the second level, specific fundamentals.
Okay, so these are different.
Right. These are the fundamentals tied directly to your unique craft and your specific context. They are the core actions within your particular role that give you the execution edge and drive progress.
So give us some examples.
Well, for a leader, as Coach Padalecki suggests, specific fundamentals might involve scheduling and consistently holding effective one-on-one meetings with team members,
Ensuring clear communication channels.
or dedicating specific blocks of time for strategic thinking away from the daily urgencies and fires.
Okay, what about, say, a founder?
For a founder, specific fundamentals could be diligent, ongoing market research to really understand customer needs.
Not just assuming.
No. Or the continuous practice and refinement of their pitch, not just the content, but the delivery, the story, constantly tweaking it.
And for a coach, like Coach P himself.
Well, beyond the technical X's and O's of their sport, specific fundamentals might include consistent time for self-reflection on their own practice,
Looking inward.
meticulous preparation for each training session tailored to individual athlete needs, or proactively scheduling those conversations with athletes that go beyond just the mechanics, focusing on their mental game, their well-being.
What makes these specific fundamentals so powerful is that they aren't just busy work, right?
Not at all. They are the foundational actions within your role that directly drive impact and improvement.
So Coach P really challenges you, the listener, to reflect. What are your specific fundamentals? What are those essential, maybe even repetitive or challenging actions in your role that, if you did them consistently and well, would elevate your performance the most?
And this whole idea, perfecting the mundane, it connects so deeply with the cornerstone of performance science, deliberate practice.
Ah, yes. Anders Ericsson's work.
Exactly. Coach Padalecki draws on that research, which kind of debunked the simple 10,000 hours rule. It's not just about putting in the time.
Right, it's the quality of that time that matters.
Precisely. World-class performers aren't just logging hours. They're putting in focused, structured, feedback-rich reps on the fundamentals.
Focused, structured, feedback-rich. Okay.
They're intentionally working right at the edge of their capability, seeking immediate feedback on how they're doing, and then adjusting based on that feedback. It's effortful repetition, but with a clear purpose.
This is where performance psychology really emphasizes process over outcome. The focus isn't solely on the goal, the win, but on perfecting the step-by-step process that makes achieving that outcome possible predictably and repeatedly.
And it requires pushing past boredom or discomfort. That's the effortful part. And it absolutely relies on those feedback loops. You're not just mindlessly drilling. You're drilling, getting input from a coach, a mentor, data, maybe just self-analysis, and refining your technique or approach constantly.
So, looping back to Coach Padalecki's core message, if you're waiting for some, magical breakthrough
Or a bolt of inspiration.
to reach your next level, whether that's a business milestone, an athletic achievement, Coach P suggests you might be looking in a wrong place.
Your next level, it seems, will likely be unlocked by bringing intentionality, focus, and that relentless consistency to the boring stuff. the stuff that forms the bedrock of your performance.
Doubling down on the fundamentals, both the universal ones and the ones specific to your craft.
And Coach Ed Padalecki provides a really practical way to start applying this immediately. He offers a challenge.
What's the challenge?
Get 1% better today. It's all about taking immediate, small action. Coach P encourages you to think right now about one of those universal fundamentals we discussed: sleep, nutrition, movement, breath, or focus. Which one needs just a little attention in your life right now?
Okay, pick one. Maybe sleep for me. Now what?
Now plan one specific action you will take today to improve that by just 1%.
1% of sleep. How does that work?
Maybe it's as simple as deciding to go to bed 30 minutes earlier tonight. That's a step. Or packing a healthy lunch instead of buying it. That's nutrition. Taking a 15-minute walk during your busiest period movement.
Doing 60 seconds of focused breathing before your next big meeting or call?
Exactly. Or blocking out just 30 minutes in your calendar right now for some undisturbed deep work. Just one small, achievable step today.
Okay, I like that. And he applies the same challenge to the specific fundamentals, too.
Leader, founder, coach, athlete, whatever it is. What's one core fundamental action for your craft that needs more attention? Identify that one specific to your role. Now, plan one specific action today to improve it by 1%.
So that could be scheduling that team member check-in you've been putting off.
Could be. Or spending 20 focused minutes refining that key slide deck. Making those 3 proactive calls to potential clients you meant to make yesterday.
Or dedicating 30 minutes to reviewing game film on one specific aspect of your technique if you're an athlete.
Right. The power isn't really in the size of the step itself.
It's the consistency.
That 1% improvement, executed daily or weekly, it compounds dramatically over time, just like small financial investments add up.
It brings us right back to that powerful phrase Coach Padalecki uses for his final word. Make the mundane sacred.
I like that one. Make the mundane sacred.
If you aspire to perform like a pro in your domain, whatever it is,
you have to treat your basic actions with the same reverence and discipline that a pro athlete treats their drills.
They aren't beneath you. They are the very foundation upon which all extraordinary performance is built.
Echoing the lessons from performance psychology, consistency beats intensity every single time for building lasting, sustainable excellence.
It's not about the occasional burst of brilliance we see.
No, it's about the relentless, focused work on the fundamentals, day in, day out.
So the call to action from Coach Padalecki is clear.
Let's raise the bar on our boredom. Let's stop searching for the dramatic shortcut and instead find the mastery in what truly matters most.
Which is?
The seemingly mundane fundamentals of our craft and our well-being.
Okay, so to wrap up this deep dive, the core takeaway from Coach Padalecki's work is both humbling, I think, and also incredibly empowering.
How so?
Well, true excellence isn't about inherent talent or those rare moments. It's a result of daily, consistent, and focused mastery of the fundamentals.
Both the universal ones that fuel us
and the specific ones that define our craft. It's within reach if you focus on the right things.
And here's maybe the provocative thought to carry with you from this deep dive, rooted right in the principle we've explored all this time.
Okay, leave us with this.
If mastering the boring stuff is genuinely the path to greatness and unlocking your next level, what seemingly insignificant, mundane habit or fundamental practice are you currently overlooking?
Or maybe even dismissing.
Yeah, dismissing in your own routine. That might actually hold the most powerful, untapped potential for your growth. What boring thing holds the key? Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. We hope this gives you some food for thought as you continue on your journey.